If you feel behind in life right now, if you feel like everyone else is passing you by, if you feel like you're not doing enough, this video is for you. I get so many messages and DMs and emails from you guys feeling like you are behind. And I totally get it because I have been there myself. When I got married to my husband Irfan and he retired me from my real estate business, which I was a burned out single mom. So I definitely needed that break. And for 8 to 9 years after that, I was just having my babies, taking care of them, taking care of the household, quietly studying, getting mentorship, coaching, doing things behind the scene. It did look like the world was passing me by. There were a lot of people telling me that. They were saying, you're wasting your degrees, you're wasting your potential. Like, why would you not use your education? And what they were not realizing, first of all, is that I was in a season of life and I was using my education. I was actually growing my education. I was making power moves, but they were subtle power moves depending on that season of life that I was in. And then 8 or 9 years later, when I decided that it was time to make the boldest power move ever, I came out of the scene. I wrote my first book. That one, Contained in Love. I wrote my first book. I got certified as a life coach. I launched my coaching business. I passed by all of those people, like 10x past them, 100x past the people that were telling me that you're behind or making me at least feel that way. Because here's the thing, what I've learned is that time is not linear. I live in Einstein time. When you are linear, when you're thinking in linear time, there are people like here's you and there's people ahead of you on the chart. And if the line keeps moving in a linear fashion, there's actually no way to pass them by because they're already ahead of you. Like this is why people will try to sabotage each other, bring them down when they're in this type of a graph because it's very hard to overtake someone that has years on you. However, if you don't live in linear time, if you live in Einstein time, there is a very specific formula that you follow where you get off the chart, meaning you end up creating your own chart and you're number one on it. There's no way to, the only way to beat you at that point would be that someone's making bigger, bolder moves than you are, meaning they're more in Einstein time. They're like leveraging it even more. And so you have to think of it this way. If you are sitting still and not doing anything, yes, it's true, people will pass you by. And yes, you will get behind. However, the minute you decide to change that, like today, if you went and made the biggest, boldest power move, there's no way to catch up to you. So I'll give you an example. I used to go when I was in my like stay-at-home mom days. I would go to like dinner parties and things with my husband, and everyone there was talking about investing in the stock market. And I got a promotion, and I got this certification, and now I'm earning this much money. And they were all like six-figure earners. And so, yes, it did feel like to me that I was behind because my husband was earning and he was taking good care of us, but I wasn't like getting, you know, my own income or anything like that. And so I would just sit there quiet, right? Like I didn't have anything to even contribute to the conversation. But the minute I made my first power move, within months, I was making what they make in a whole year in a month. Now I had a lot to contribute. And they were all shocked. They were asking me, oh my God, like they were really proud of me. They were happy, but it defied the laws of physics in their mind. They were like, how is this possible? You were just changing diapers and now you have a book, you have courses, you have students from all over the world. What? It didn't even make sense to them, right? And then I started making in a week what I was making in a month. Like or in a year, it was crazy. Like I can't even logically explain it to you because my growth was so non-linear. So, of course, if someone else is stuck in linear time and they're watching me, they will feel behind. But the only thing you have to do to change that is you have to make a power move. Now, I've had students come into Gynos Success Academy. They said, I've been watching you for a while. And I saw your growth. I saw how fast you make power moves and how fast you fly off the chart. And I want to make those moves too. So I signed up to be right next to you, to be calibrated toward with you, to be with these other women. And you can't help but be successful in that way because now you're in a circle of women that every single day they're making power moves while everyone else can barely manage their emotions. Everyone else can't manage their mind. We are making power moves after power moves. Now, I have another example of my mother, Sheena, of how she made her power moves. Oh my God, this woman, oh, you have to like earn to be Sheena's daughter because this woman was ahead of her time. Like she was off the rails of the power moves that this woman would make. Okay. So when she got married to my dad, and she came to this country. She had a subpar education. Like she had a bachelor's degree, but she wasn't from the wealthiest family back home and she had like an average education. She was a 4'11" little woman, barely could speak a word of English, and they were living in these like ethnic apartment buildings in Chicago. I don't know if you guys are familiar where like it's like all immigrants, right? And then like roach infected, like all the things. And she was watching people, she was talking to people, and she was noticing certain things. And she decided that she didn't want to live in that environment. She's like, I don't want to live like this. Like, I want to be somewhere better. Like, I'm not going to come all the way to the United States to be like living in this kind of a place. And so she asked around, and at the time, she discovered that she should become a nursing aide and that's her like best chance of making like quick money. So she goes to school, she becomes a nurse aide, and I think I was like 4 years old when she like went to work and she became a nurse aide. While she was a nurse aide, she learned that if she was an RN, she would be making more money. So she went back to school and then she became an RN. And as she was an RN, she started doing all of these different businesses. Like she opened, oh my God, if went through a list of all the businesses that this woman had, we'd be here forever. Like a salon, a printing press. She had the first Urdu magazine ever to be published in Chicago. She got a award from the mayor. Like she was just off the rails. Well, when I was about 20 years old, she had some friends that were in real estate and she saw that these people were killing it in real estate. And she decided that she wanted to quit nursing, quit all these other businesses that she was doing, and she was ready to get into real estate. So she went back to school and she's got her real estate. Like it took her a few months. Her English wasn't that good. Like she never did learn. My dad used to say her English gets worse every year that she's in the United States. And so she went back to school. While she was in real estate school, she starts calling up everyone she knows and talking to them about buying a house. She called people from her first few jobs that hated her. Yes, ma'am. She called her haters and sold them real estate. And now she started showing those people properties. Okay, I know you're not supposed to do that. Uh, Before she had a real estate license. Okay, so she gets her real estate license and she joins this real estate firm that is like a very famous, well-known real estate firm and one of the chains, and they had 200 agents. And she negotiates her package saying, I'm already bringing clients. And so whatever they usually give their agents like whatever percent, and then the broker keeps them. She negotiates. She comes in, and the first day she walks into the office, she goes to the cafeteria and she notices this leaderboard with the top 10 agents. And she comes home that day and she says, I'm going to be on that top 10 list. And I'm like, Mom, you're crazy. Like, there's 200 agents in there. They've been there, like, doing real estate for like decades, right? She's like, I'm going to be on there. Because she had already started showing houses and she was like calling up everyone. She had been in the United States for 20 years at that point. She called up everyone, like everyone, her haters, like people that wanted nothing to do with her. She called everyone that she had ever met in 20 years and started getting them. looking at real estate, investment properties, their first home, their first condo, whatever. And she, within 30 days, she's in the top 10, can barely speak English. Okay. She's competing against people that have been selling real estate for decades. Within 60 days, she's the number one producer. People were shocked. In fact, some of the top producers were slashing her tires, breaking her windows so she couldn't go to her showings because they were in linear time. It had taken them 20 years to make it to the leaderboard. And they were like, what is this chick doing? She must be doing something illegal. Like, what's happening? And because they were in linear time, they figured the only way we can get her down is to like hurt her. Let's break her car. Let's do this. Let's make sure that she can't make it to her showings. My mom had to lie and tell everyone in the office that she had installed cameras in her car to get them to stop doing that. So, what happened? Well, what happened is she showed up hungry. She showed up willing to make power moves. People at the top on their leaderboard, they were comfortable. They're not going to call their haters and try to sell them property. They're not going to sell the person that they lived in an apartment building with 18 years ago and sell them a property. They're comfortable. They're making their little cushy six figures. They're not going to hustle that way. They're not going to be making power moves. This chick shows up making the craziest power moves. Of course, she's number one. Of course. And within a few short years, she opened up her own realty. And a lot of the agents went with her. That's power moves. That's living in Einstein time. She surrounded herself with people that were movers and shakers that did scary things. The first thing she did when she went in that office is she became like really, really close with the office manager, the woman that like supervised all of these 200 agents. And to this day, I'm in contact with that woman, and she says she misses my mom so much. My mom's been gone now for 15 years. She knew relationships. She knew bold moves. Do you think my mom, Sheena, showed up telling stories like, oh, well, they're already on the leaderboard. I can't play now. They've already been doing this for 20 years. Of course, Sheena didn't say any of that. Sheena would not be caught dead saying any of that. So, babe, you're not stuck because everyone else is ahead of you. You're stuck because you keep making lateral moves. You've been doing the same shit. You're having the same thoughts. You're having the same feelings. You're telling the same stories. You're stuck in a pattern. And the only way to get out of it is make the boldest, scariest move, get an insurance policy, put yourself in the room of women that won't let you fail, that are going to invest in you because they're invested in growth in themselves. They're making such big power moves that you have no choice but to come along with them. Because here's the thing, the most powerful woman in the room isn't the one that's like ahead. It's the one that used up the most courage to show up. So when my mom showed up in that real estate office, barely speaking English, 4'11", driving a beat down car, she was the most courageous woman in the room, and she leveraged that courage. She leveraged that hunger. As long as you have that hunger, you have that drive, you have courage, you are going to be flying off the charts of that leaderboard. But you have to make a move. You can't just sit still telling stories about how everyone's ahead. Every single woman that's ahead of you, if you're in linear time and she's in linear time, she started before you. You can't change that. But if you're in Einstein time and there is someone ahead of you, it's because they're making power moves that you are not making. You have gotten comfortable with yourself. Be honest. In fact, let me know in the chat, pause this right now and let me know in the comments if this is you. Because the first point to changing is declaring the truth, be getting really honest with yourself. Stop getting in this loop. They're ahead of you because they're making killer power moves. That's the truth. Okay, the next thing I hear a lot is, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to launch. I don't know whether I should get married first or I should start my business first. When you're sitting in the same room having the same thoughts, wearing the same clothes, eating the same foods, you're not going to get any new divine data points. You've already extracted all the confusion from the field over there. But when you go into a completely new environment, i.e., you show up in Kainath, and in there, women are making power moves, women just like you, women in college, women going through divorce, women pregnant and going through divorce, women making big life transitions, big change, like women of all backgrounds, all ages. When you show up in a room like that, you're in a new setting. You're now hanging out with different people. You're having different conversations. You're having different thoughts. You feel different. You're making power moves. Then you get clarity. You get certainty. Your confusion goes away because you have now access to a different level of thinking and being that you wouldn't have had sitting still. And so when we are in this state of confusion, should I do or this, that or that? You need to change where you're hanging out. You need to change the people that you're talking to. Notice that when you're confused, you call people that make you more confused because you're kind of addicted to that confusion. Get addicted to certainty. Come hang out with us. Get addicted to knowing. Get addicted to knowing without a shadow of a doubt and moving with faith because that is also something that is available to you. Because here's the truth, babe. Quantum leaps require quantum environment. You need to put yourself with people whose nervous systems are calibrated higher than yours, even if it just means that they are also making really scary moves. I make moves every day that bring me to my knees, honestly, that like make me want to throw up. I'm doing something right now that is so freaking scary for me. I'll tell you guys about it soon. But when I tell you, you might be like, okay, that's not that scary because you'll have the results of it. You'll see the results of it. But when I'm making it right now, I'm scared every day. I'm requiring, like, there's so much courage that is required that I have to pull from my being. Every day, I have to pull courage from my being. And by the way, I have an invocation, like a activation for this, and it's available for free where you can siphon courage from your being. If you sign up for my email list, it's in the same portal as the container workbook, and I'll link it for you in the description box. If you listen to this 21 days in a row, your life will absolutely change. Okay, so it's in the description box. The other thing I want to mention is this Friday, August 1st, we are doing a bonus pregame class called Shameless, the Naughty Girl Unleashed. And that class is happening as part of Desires, Dollars, and Divine Union. If you already have that class, you should be getting an email later today with the Zoom link to join us on Friday. And it's also in the course portal. If you're not in it, you can still sign up. It's in the description box. The last announcement this Saturday, the mentorship only, which is the lower tier of Kainat Success Academy, will be retired. So with Kainat Success Academy, this is my most potent close proximity work that you can do. You get my husband and I as coaches, masculine and feminine coaching, over 300K of value and for the higher tier and over 200K of value for the lower tier, which is leaving on Saturday. And the price is a fraction of that. And honestly, most people make back their investment within weeks because it's that potent. It's that potent and it's really a quantum environment. So I'll leave the information for all of this in the description box. Let me know your key takeaways and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.